Hello, my name is Spencer Johnson. I'm in Social Media Strategies 342, and this is my final project. I'm going to be doing a little study on the Liver King's confession. Liver King, aka, or Brian Johnson, aka Liver King. Recently, some emails were leaked that he had been on performance-enhancing drugs and steroids. This was emails between his coach or sponsor and himself talking about illicit drugs, illicit steroid use, blah, blah, blah. Prior to this, he had always said that he did not use them, had not used them, will never use them. And now here in this video, now the emails have been leaked, he is confessing to it. Although I will point out that he does not address the emails in this video. I don't think that he ever addresses the emails. And that was interesting because I thought the emails were faked. They were really, really, really fake looking. They looked like they were from Windows 98. This dude is a millionaire. He definitely has a better email server than that. Nonetheless, this will be try to be a neutral, unbiased review of the video, and then we will talk about why it was unethical in the reflection. So without further ado,
I'm making this video to apologize because I fucked up, because I'm embarrassed and ashamed, because I lied and I misled a lot of people. I've stated that this is a complicated as fuck topic, at least to me it is, because before social media, I was rich and anonymous, and after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous, and I never expected this kind of...
So in the first 10 seconds, as soon as the video starts, he's shirtless. He's all pumped up like he just finished working out. His beard is elegantly groomed. He's got a hat on backwards. He's in a cool chair. He's sitting right in front of a stairwell, which is weird. Probably not where a chair would be. This all seems very, very unsincere, just running right off the jump. But he is owning up that he effed up right from the jump. But I will say that he kind of beats around the bush a little bit. You would think that would kind of be the opening line. I don't know. Maybe it's meant to pull you in. We'll see.
With exposure in the public eye, it's been tricky as fuck to navigate. Well, clearly I did it wrong, and I'm here now to set the record straight. Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. Liver King.
Okay. So there he does say it. He does put it into exact words within the first minute that he did do steroids and that he lied, but that it was under a clinical hormone person. But the point about his company, that he was rich before and after the persona, is to say that his social media strategy, his marketing campaign of the Liver King persona was not ever to benefit his existing companies. Do your research. He doesn't need the help. He's booming, and he admits this in the video again a number of times, that he didn't need the Liver King. So the Liver King, he's already implied that Liver King was for fun or for nonprofit or XYZ. The next few seconds, he'll really delve into that, or attempt to.
Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves, the 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life. Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution called ancestral living, the 9 ancestral tenets, so our people no longer have to suffer, so we can collectively express our highest.
Okay. remember, this is just a neutral review, but he is claiming that his tribe website and 9 ancestral tenets and his crazy videos and his crazy diet and all his content was to raise awareness for suicide and depression. That is what he is claiming. Remember, this is a non-biased video. We will view my opinion in the reflection, nonetheless. So this is just wild. Social experiment to bring awareness to the 4,000 people who kill themselves a day and 80,000 that try, and specifically our young men who are hurting the most.
Most darn for him. This is my fight. This is why I exist. While spreading the message, I've been on several podcasts, and when asked if I've ever taken steroids, I've always said no. I don't touch this stuff, not gonna touch this stuff, never touch this stuff. That was a lie. I've convinced myself.
Okay, so now we're right at 2 minutes. He's explained that he had a simple solution to what he boils down to as low ambition and submissiveness. His solution was the 9 ancestral tenets: sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, bond. He did not mention these in the apology video, but they are cornerstones of his brand, so I believe, or the Liver King brand. I believe it's important to have them in mind as we hear what he has to say. But we have to remember that this man's on a lot of gear, a ton of gear, and gear is in steroids. And if he doesn't deal with the things he just mentioned, then it's the gear that probably did it for him, not these 9 tenets. I think that's something we can all agree on. However, I'm not a trained hormone expert. I do believe that still falls in the alley of unbiased and neutral towards the video, towards his reaction. And again, he admits that he lied on these podcasts when questioned about doing this stuff, which is what a lot of people turn to in order to escape the things that he was talking about that he said was the purpose for the Liver King persona that did these things. So that's the unethical part that we're looking at. Now that's been established, let's finish the video.
That this had nothing to do with the ancestral message. I convinced myself that I'm not a competitive athlete of any kind, so who the fuck am I cheating? I convinced myself that this topic was a placeholder for a far more important conversation. I convinced myself that this would overshadow the 36 years of working out, usually twice a day, without PEDs. I've convinced myself that this was the vocal minority, usually in the fitness category, driving to an unproductive conversation. And I had convinced myself that this would be the wrong message to send to the 15-year-old boys. So
this area starts to get dicey. He's saying that he convinced himself that the steroids weren't important, that it had nothing to do with what the Liver King was doing, because he wasn't a competitive athlete, because it had nothing to do with the ancestral tenets, and that he wasn't hurting anybody or cheating anyone. But he did eventually realize that this, or maybe he's saying that in the beginning he knew that that wasn't the message, that steroids wasn't the message that he wanted to send to these young men. But he did that anyway by being on steroids. And a lot of them, obviously, and then lying.
continually dismissed it, and I dug myself into a bigger and deeper hole. I have only myself to blame.
Okay, I was supposed to be unbiased, but he's digging himself the worst hole right now.
I did that, and it was all wrong. I will be better. I will talk about it openly, because I believe that there's a time and a place for pharmacological intervention monitored.
This is what he probably should have started with when he started the Liver King. Was, look, I'm rich. I have money. I have power. I have connections. I have clinical hormone experts that can do things for me to help me. Here's 30 years of a case study of my supplement brand, my twice a day for 30 years exercise, all this blah, 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 without PEDs. Now, this is where I got, and this is how I felt. And then I tried those with a clinical hormone specialist supervising it all. But no, he doesn't. It gets worse, I think.
Been managed by a trained hormone physician. In 2021, when I was 4.
He said in 2021 that he just started his PED journey. An unbiased video would say, oh, okay, well, we can believe that. But this is more of a factual unbiased video. And one, we can't trust him. This is a video about the fact that he lied. So he's probably lying about when he started steroids and PEDs. And to say that it was only a year ago, if you know anything about PEDs, which you normally take in a 3 to 6 month cycle with a 2 to 3 month cleanse afterwards, and then you normally want to do 6 months clean and then you do another 6 months, the math isn't adding up. Because he goes in to start talking about all the different things he's tried and they didn't work. So this means he's been through a number of cycles. A number as in few, as in at least 3 cycles in at least a year and a half to 2 years. But he just said that he started in 2021. Now listen to what he says and you'll see what I mean.
43 years old. I didn't feel 100% physically or cognitively. So I went to get monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician to see what the fuck was going on with my life. And so yes, it's true. I have tried several peptide combinations in an effort to increase my growth hormone, and it didn't work, meaning that my levels still remained below the normal level. So yes, it's also true that I've tried pharmaceutical-grade growth hormone, and I finally found success in managing therapeutic levels in the normal range. Yes, this is true. I've continued on with 0.6 cc's of testosterone per week, roughly 120 milligrams of testosterone a week. And no, I don't
Actually, let's finish this.
take any other steroids like nandrolone or winstrol, but I have tried them in the past without success. Yes, it's also true that my blood chemistry.
Okay, so that, if you followed what I said before that clip of the video, I said that the time frames weren't adding up. And then he goes in to say that he had tried altering his natural growth hormone production by using these things. This is good. This is modern science. This is okay. This needs to be talked about. But he did it in the dark and lied. That's why it's not okay. If he would have come out in the beginning and been an advocate for hormone therapy, who knows where this guy could have gone. But he didn't. He lied and he hid all of that, and he tried to say it was from eating ball sack of animals and livers. And he wasn't even selling liver and ball sack, so no one really knows what this guy is doing. It's insane. But so here he's talking about Anadrol and what was the other one? Something with a W. That they messed up. They scattered his lipids everywhere, which is believable that that's somewhere where someone would start in the beginning of their steroid or PED journey. And that reflects to where in the emails they were talking about how his body wasn't reacting to what they were doing, so they had to go up to the prescription grade growth hormone, which is what he's talking about. So then that kind of cuts the knees out of the new era hormone therapy, because he's just directly supplementing growth hormone now. This is no longer groundbreaking. This is no longer scientifical. This is 70s bodybuilding era stuff. This is no new news. People have been doing this since the 60s, since the Russians came up with steroids. And he says that he's no longer doing these other ones that he's tried, and that's where I was saying he would have had to do those others for about 6 months at a time, either each or stacked, to see that they didn't work in order to get the real blood work that would show something. You have to take this stuff for like 3 months for it to do anything. So maybe 2021 wasn't a lie. That's just like the shortest possible time frame for him to be telling the truth about when he first started doing this. But then if you look at how he looks, it's like, okay, I don't know. But I'm no clinical hormonist. But man, this next part is where it gets real dicey. I had never even heard him say this, nor these allegations, but it just further makes and means that we can't trust him and kind of takes out any credibility of Silver Lining in this video. Watch. Listen, right there.
Got all fucked up.
Talk about his lipids still from Angelo and Windstrom.
My lipids got all
Wait.
deranged. My liver enzymes went sky high, which is why clinical oversight is an absolute must.
That's a good point. If you're going to go do steroids, get a doctor or a coach to help.
Nope. The Liver King brand has had nothing, or at least very little, to do with my business success. My companies were already kicking ass, already successful before the Liver King public figure, growing at 50% year over year and still growing at the same pace after the Liver King public figure.
Completely another random snippet of him trying to prove the point that he's not just randomly narcissistically saying, oh, my companies are so good, they don't need the Liver King. He's trying to prove the point that Liver King was not for profit in his existing businesses. That does not mean that the Liver King itself and his tribe website and everything else he did, merchandise, whatever, wasn't for profit, but that the public figure, the persona, the social media strategy, the marketing campaign of the Liver King was not to benefit his existing companies. They are a separate entity owned by the person Brian Johnson, who the Liver King ate and became throughout this past year and a half or so. But so that's just another important point that he wants to make, that the Liver King was truly an isolated entity, business, campaign, it had nothing to do with his existing businesses. That this was truly for fun or a passion.
Nope. I've never had ab implants, ab etching, or any other plastic surgery, and I sure as fuck never actually had gene editing done in Singapore. I made all of that up. It was all intended to be a joke, and that's an expression of ancestral intent. Have a little goddamn fun. Ultimately,
this is the really weird part where he completely lost me. And I'll say that in every part of the video where he says his lie and that he lied, he does this. In any of his video, a lot of his videos, when he's talking about stuff that's like, really? He does that. He goes. So as he sits there and he's talking about one thing, he goes back to his businesses, and then he says, I've never had plastic surgery, ab etching, or any of that stuff. But I sure as F have never, ever really gone to Singapore, this one place that I specifically mentioned that I did for gene, some science, that's a whole nother world of ballgame and science. But no one asked. No one said that he did. No one accused him of that. Apparently he said this at some point. Oh, it was just a joke for the 10th ancestral tenet to have a good time. I'm fighting for this guy. I think that there is some merit, some silver lining in here. But man, what he just said just kind of shot it all to pieces. I really think this guy's full of crap.
why do I do them? When I talk about the 85% of the population that suffers from self-esteem issues, that's me. I'm part of that statistic. This is why I fucking work myself to death in the gym. This is why I do 12 to 15 blood-burning workouts a week, just to feel like I'm okay. Still, I have to absolutely crush myself to do so, and I'm wrecked physically and cognitively, and hormone replacement has helped in a profound path to paradise is paved in fucking hell.
This guy is so mixed up. Wow. So he goes from one thing to his businesses to a completely random off-topic thing that no one ever mentioned except for him, apparently. Back into his scapegoat of suicide awareness. And that he finally tells the real truth that he himself is insecure, depressed, low ambition, all these different things. Which is okay. Again, that's good stuff. If he would have opened up in the very beginning with that, and then shown everything he had done up to that point, and then said, now I'm going to try hormone manipulation, which seems to be the thing that truly brought out the essence of the Liver King out of Brian Johnson, that would have been great. But he didn't. He lied. And he made up all this other stuff around it and didn't just address the real issue, because ultimately all he did was make a bigger problem. He said in order to just feel okay that he had to work out 12 to 15 times a day, or 12 to 15 times a week, blood burning workouts, working out twice a day. You don't have to do it. No one has to do that. NFL football players don't do that. NHL hockey players don't do that. NBA basketball players do not train like that. No one does except for bodybuilders on steroids. They're the most insecure, lunaticish people ever. And all they end up doing is destroying their bodies. Look at Ronnie Coleman. What was revered as the greatest bodybuilder of the world, and now he's in a wheelchair. He has Parkinson's. He can't even walk or use the restroom by himself. Because he took an insecurity and it became his God. And that's all he ever served. So that's all he ever became. Same thing here. Mr. Brian Johnson was so concerned about that he wasn't doing enough, that his $1 million companies weren't enough, that his kids and his loving wife and his already great physique and his already big beard weren't enough. So he had to do more. That's the problem with the world. That's the reason 4,000 people are killing themselves today. That's the reason 80,000 people are killing themselves or trying to kill themselves today. That's the reason young men are so in pain and hurting, because people like this, they're setting an unrealistic body standard. They're setting an unrealistic social economic standard. They're setting an unrealistic diet standard. Everything that they're doing is wrong. And sadly, they're blaming it or saying that it's for the reason that they started. And it seems to be it's only made their issue worse and created more issues for other people. How many 15-year-old kids have watched this and thought, I have to eat liver. I have to spend all my money on raw foods. I have to go eat raw food. So then kids are going to Walmart and getting raw food from Walmart, which is highly processed, has chemicals. You're not supposed to eat that shit raw. And they ate it raw and they got sick. Or they worked out a ton, but they don't have steroids. So they're doing 2 days, 12 to 15 blood burning workouts a week, destroying their body, disabling their athletic development, just obliterating their strength threshold, setting them up for chronic cardiovascular disease, because they're trying to be like this guy. And they don't understand that this guy is on the most powerful drug in the world, human growth hormone. The best shit you can get, because he's one of the richest men in America. He can afford it. Even if you wanted to do what this guy does, 99% of people can't, because they don't have the money. They never will. And that's another thing that I think that he makes a big problem, is he has a ton of money, and he keeps talking about that. And that's all he shows in his videos. And he even if he doesn't understand that you have to have a ton of money to eat the way that he does, everyone else does. So now everybody else already felt bad, had low ambition, low self-esteem, all these different things. They're going through this. They've probably already tried to kill themselves once. And now they see this guy who just has no challenge in the world that is a challenge to him. He probably has any girl he wants, has kids already, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. He's good, he's set, he's rich, he can eat whatever he wants, he looks whatever, and it's like, how does a 15-year-old, how does another 40-year-old compare themselves to that and try and live their life? And then he had the audacity to say that Liver King was a social experiment for those people. You're the problem, bro. You're the reason people are killing themselves. People like this and shit like this. It's insane. And honestly, it really upset me.
I previously have said in a weird way, I'm grateful for the recent events that have shed light on this complicated as fuck topic. I knew I needed to take this opportunity to openly discuss everything for me to be a better human. If there are any questions that remain unanswered, send them my way. I fully own that I fucked up. I am as sorry as a man can be. And all I can do is take extreme ownership right now, be better, and lead myself to a better life as a better human. Again, thank you to everyone for the support, the criticism, the love, the hate, and above all else, the loyalty. Liver King.
Okay. Closing argument. He says he thought it would be a good time, a good platform to be open about his steroid use. This video was published 6 days ago. No follow-up articles, no follow-up video, no follow-up explanation. And the persona of the Liver King has continued to function as if this video never happened. He's still doing events, he's still doing videos. He was just in Dubai yesterday, hanging out with some Raj's big cats or something. I think that's where I think that there's a huge problem because, like I said before, if he would have just started in the beginning, I'm a man with an issue. I've been working 30 years to overcome. It's not working. This is what I'm going to try, and I want to publish it. He didn't. He did all that and then lied and said a totally different story. And then he finally got caught. He admitted it, and he never went back to it. He's just still doing that again. And that's why he's wrong. And it's unethical. And that has been my final project. I am posting a link to his video in the description of this video, and my reflection will be posted as well. Thank you. Have a great day.